Hi everyone. So now we are going to talk about what exactly is a class and what is the meaning of object. So basically, a class is like a blueprint. Okay. So a class does not take any memory. It's just a map that tells compiler, okay, when you will construct some object by filling data in this class, that object is going to take memory. Okay. So class is used to define the blueprint for creating a object. So this is what, for example, when you make a map for your home, the actual map does not take up the space on the land. Okay, but when you construct your home after taking inspiration from that map, so that is the thing that actually takes space. Okay, so the actual home is will be an object, and the map of that would be a class. Okay, so this is what is going to happen in our case. So let's see how do we write the code for a class. Okay, so object, as I discussed, it is an instance of the class, and it actually occupies some memory, and we need to define classes to make objects in the memory. Okay, for example, I want to make objects for, let's say, multiple cars. Okay, I want to store information about 3 cars in the memory. Then let's say I'm creating an array of cars. Let's say this is car 0, this is car 1, this is car 2. So each of these objects is going to have the same attributes. It is going to have a name, it is going to have a color, again it is going to have a name, it is going to have a color, and model, maybe name, color, model. Okay, so all of them are created from the same map. So we would have defined a class car, and here we could have defined, okay, this has a name property, it has a color property, it has a model property, and it has some functions as well. Okay, so this code does not occupy a space, but when you create object from this code, for example, I say, okay, I want to create a car A with certain name, with certain color, and with certain model, then this A object is going to take space in the memory. So that's what I'm talking about. Okay, now let's see actually how the code would look like. So data members store the information about the car. So let's say we have a car, and this car has some certain price, certain model ID, and name of the car is a string. So either you can use a character array, or you can use a string as well. Okay, maybe you can write string name. So I've written array here because later on I want to teach a concept that is for which this name should be an array. Okay, but you can take string as well. String is working perfectly fine. So okay, this is how you define. So we have a class keyword followed by name of the class, followed by the attributes, and here you close your curly brackets followed by a semicolon. Okay, now not just attributes, as we discussed, we can also have methods inside the class. Okay, so maybe these are the methods that we have defined, and there is also a concept of access modifiers. Okay, so these data members, these are private by default. Okay, that means they're not visible outside the class. Okay, they are not visible outside the class, and public means they are also visible outside the class. Okay, so in a class you can have few things which are private, and you can have few things which you want to expose to other classes and objects. So that data is known as public data. Okay, or you want to give certain methods using which you can work on this data. So you are exposing these methods, and all the private data members and functions, they are hidden. So private ensures data hiding. Okay, and public basically exposes data. Okay, maybe what I want is to some other class or object, I want to show the price of the car. Okay, I want to display the details of the car, but I don't want to make this public so that anyone outside this car can modify the price of the car. I don't want any other class to modify the price of the car and maybe set it to -1, something like that. Okay, I want that logic to be a part of the car class. Okay, someone else should not modify the price or the model ID of the car. Okay, so that's why we need to protect this data from getting overwritten. But maybe someone says I want to only read the price of the car. Okay, then what we will do, we will create something like a int get price. There is a method, and this method is going to return the price. So it will ensure that the price variable is used only in the read only mode. We are not going to give the write access for the price variable or the for the price property of the car. Okay, so this is the concept of access modifiers, and these methods are now public, and these uh, data members are private. So a class will have certain data members, it will have certain member functions as well. Okay, and now let us write some code starting from the next lecture, and I hope you got an basic understanding of classes and objects.